Welcome to Midlife Matters. I'm Marie, and each week I'm joined by my friends Julie and Mindy to talk about all the topics keeping women in the middle years up at night. Today we're talking about designing your summer. Join us as we share the importance of planning for fun and adventure during this special season. Let's get started. Listeners, today we're talking about designing our summer. And we got this idea from Gretchen Rubin's podcast, Happier. I know that she does this, if not every year, most years, designing her summer. So I went back and listened to the little snippets of Design Your Summer over a wide variety of years that she's done it. And one of the things that kind of kicked her off to designing your summer is this quote by Robertson Davies that she took from his essay. And I don't know his essay, but I want to give him credit. So it's called 3 Worlds, 3 Summers. And the quote is, "Every man makes his own summer. The season has no character of its own unless one is a farmer with a professional concern for the weather. Circumstances have not allowed me to make a good summer for myself this year. My summer has been overcast by my own heaviness of spirit. I have not had any adventures, and adventures are what make a summer." And one, I think that quote is so poignant and true. And two, it really made me think, oh yeah, designing your summer is a good idea. What did you guys think about this?
Yeah, it really is. It can be your own time. I don't know if when you have kids, maybe not so much, but in midlife, as your children don't drive your time as much, you can kind of create a mood or a feeling, even if it's not, that you're dictating how you use every minute of your time, but you can try to create a mood or a feeling, what you want to get out of summer.
Mm-hmm.
It meant a lot to me. I'm still dictated.
Right.
I'm still going to be dictated for a couple more years. And so, but having, your oldest kid kind of leads you into that season that they're in, even if your youngest kid is in a different one. And so I know you guys have felt that through the years because you each have kind of a range of ages too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, my daughter's been married going on 3 years, and she's out in the workforce and it's a different lifestyle for them. And then my youngest is still a sophomore in high school. So we're kind of all in between, but I appreciate the intentionality of it. You guys know I like to be intentional. Mm-hmm. And this particular topic sounds very intentional to me. So I'm excited.
Right. Well, and in the quote, it says the season has no character of its own unless you're a farmer. But actually, I think that if you're also a mom of school-aged kids, it has its own character. So I think like where Julie is and where I'm moving towards and where you will get, Mindy, is where it doesn't have its own character. But while you still have school-age kids, it still does have its own character. It's plan fun things for the kids. It's camp. It's family vacation. It's just all those things. And like that kind of switches in midlife because your family vacation may not even be in the summer anymore. I mean, it might be, but in midlife, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
Yeah. So I do think that like the school does dictate a certain character of the summer, which you'll be able to address. But then like in Julie's situation, summer has to be kind of created because every day could be the same if you let it,
Right. And it's always been one of my favorite seasons. So I still look forward to summer as if it was like it was when we had kids.
Mm-hmm.
And so that can set you up for a little disappointment if you think of it as boat rides and picnics at the lake and, and all this travel. And then it's not that. So I want to make sure I kind of decide what I want to get out of summer. So when it's over, I don't think, none of that happened or, I don't want to be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. She said, one of the reasons to design your summer is to think about what do you want from the season so it doesn't just slip by. And I don't really like to plan. Like, to me, even this episode was a little overwhelming. Like, what are you going to start doing a month from now? I don't know. Like, because I consider summer kind of starting like right after Memorial Day. And this is the end of April. So it's like a month away. And it's really hard for me to envision my summer. But I do know that also I can let time slip by if I don't plan. Like it'll just slip by and there won't have been anything notable about it. And so then I won't really remember it as much. And I might be disappointed in the fact that I didn't take advantage of it. So I definitely can see why it's important.
Well, it's funny because my summer starts right after this podcast.
Oh, does it?
Oh, Julie.
Yeah, I have a friend here and she's waiting and we're going camping at Roan Mountain in Eastern Tennessee. So it's like, yes.
My goodness.
Okay.
You know
Getting to
what,
check something off my list already.
Julie, you're living the dream. I was just thinking, like, that was one of my thoughts about, I'm idealizing myself in the future. Of course, it's all rainbow and butterflies as I look to the future, because that's just the way I am.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like summer can last forever. I love the warm months. And, when your kids are school age, you have a specific start time and you have a specific end time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look forward to not having those, that clock ticking, I guess, because it puts a lot of pressure on it. Also gives you the freedom to do almost kind of whatever you want to during those 2 months. But as our kids get older, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to going to the beach when everybody else is not there, like in September.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Or April. Or,
Yes.
something like the beginning of May. I don't know. But right now I am still like, it's very specific. This is the time for it. And these are the things that need to happen.
Yeah, because where we live, and even more so for you, Mindy, summer weather lasts way beyond the summer time frame, of
Right.
School and all that. So there is a lot more to enjoy when you have the flexibility to enjoy it.
For sure. All right. Well, let's think a little bit about what makes summer feel like summer for you. I know it's a nebulous concept. What does summer feel like? But what says summer to you? Like, Julie, you are wearing a tank top right now. And it's not like a workout tank top, which we might have been wearing all winter. Like Mindy's wearing. No, Julie is wearing a summer tank top. It's got a V-neck. It's something that you would actually go in somewhere. It's cute. It's got stripes on it. Like, doesn't her whole face and body, like that we can see right now, Mindy, say, I'm about to start summer?
Oh yeah, she looks like it. She's the picture of summer.
I even walked out of my bedroom this morning and Janet goes, "You have on shorts," because I'm always in my sweatpants and long sleeve shirt. And that's what I walked my dog in this morning. And I was like, wow, it's warm out there. So why not just go for the tank top and shorts?
Yes. And so I do think that clothing is kind of my first clue.
Right.
That it's summer and now it's time to feel like summer. I can't feel like summer if I'm still wearing clothing that is even like jeans and like a t-shirt. That's spring. Summer is when you can wear shorts and tank tops.
Yes.
And your feet can feel the air, because that's my first clue, is like the Birkenstocks come back out. And I thought it was really funny. Last night I went to a wedding and it was kind of a formal wedding. So I had on a dress with some platform kind of heel, thicker heels. And they had a little strap around the ankle, and my foot was as white as a piece of paper. And then my leg was tan from playing pickleball.
That's how mine are too.
It was very telling that I had been wearing socks and shoes a lot.
Yes.
So that's got to change.
Well, speaking of that little tangent, but Mindy, I'll be looking to you to do some research and share. There's probably other people. Is there a self-tanner designed to make the foot look like the leg?
Oh, Marie, self-tanners is a whole thing. And yes, there is.
I want an exact match.
I know. I have not delved into the self-tanner situation. Abby was home this weekend, and that the color of our skin was a huge topic of conversation in our house. And I happen to be the most tan of my particular family.
Okay.
And I'm actually not that tan, but when it comes to my family, other than Joey always has me beat. In my family, they're like, man, Mom, like your legs are already so tan. But I've been walking outside a lot, and that's a sign of the summer is, I've got a million different tan lines. So matching anything, I don't know. The Chris Loves Julia Instagram, she always does a great reel, and she talks about, the different self-tanners, and she goes deep diving into that. And I just haven't cared.
Well, maybe in
Enough.
another month you will care when summer
We need you
officially
to get on
starts.
that.
Yeah, get on
Okay,
that, Mindy,
okay.
because Julie and I both need this.
Yeah, because when
Okay.
I said tan, that was relative to my feet. I'm not tan.
Okay. Well, let me tell you why I decided to not deep dive into this self-tanner situation is Abby was telling me that she has a friend that's religious about it, but she said, but to be really good with self-tanners, you have to give yourself like an hour, hour and a half, like once a week to keep up with it.
Oh.
She said, you actually have to keep up with it. There's a process. It's going to get on your sheets. You've got to be careful
Oh.
about what you wear. And I'm just like, oh, that sounds like too much trouble. Maybe I'll just have white feet.
Well, I could maybe just do it for feet and then put on socks before you went to bed or something.
Oh, maybe
and
so.
I think
maybe
it will
so.
even out as the summer
Mhm.
goes on. I just need something to jumpstart it.
Okay, so just the feet. That's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I've got the whole like racerback sports bra outline.
Well, I
you
got
know,
that too,
with-
but that's just going to be a thing.
it's going to be a thing. Every picture. That's where it's at.
Okay, well, so clothing kind of tips us off to summer. What else helps you feel like it's summer? Mindy, do you have something that just strikes you?
No, I'm barefoot. I'm literally
okay.
barefoot.
Mhm.
And so walking in my grass is a huge gift because the grass is green, it's thick, it's growing. We've had to turn the sprinklers on. I can't bring myself to wear pants. I have to teach in leggings. As soon as I get home, I'm like, where's my shorts?
Mhm.
So definitely, you know,
Mhm.
it's shorts and tank tops season. So that's as for clothing, all my
Mhm.
summer dresses. I mean, you guys know those are always ready.
Right, right. Well, what about food? I think that we start to bring out different foods when it starts to say summer to us, and we start making less of certain things, more of others. So what kind of food switches single to you? Okay, it's summer, so now I start buying this again.
Going to get ice cream. I know that's what you were thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, we really enjoy the ice cream shop here in West Haven, and it's just fun after dinner to walk up there or,
Mm.
Mhm.
you know, be out
Mhm.
after dark. I love that. I don't tend to eat dinner any later, but I love that there's more night after dinner. In the winter, I feel
Mhm.
like that's kind of the close of the night.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I like that there's still porch time or take a walk or
Mhm.
some of the evening left.
Yeah, yeah. Is there anything that you start buying, Mindy, because you're still shopping for a family, that you start buying that you want to have on hand for this time of year that you don't usually buy in the winter?
Watermelon was kind of the big.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
We've just bought our first watermelon this past weekend, and it's like we hadn't thought about it. And Abby and I went to Publix to grab stuff to make for dinner, and they were handing out samples. I was like, "Oh yeah, it's time!"
Mhm.
And so we did. We bought watermelon. Everybody was excited. Corn on the cob. I don't know why, but corn on the cob kind of
Mhm.
comes back into my house. Chips and dip.
Okay.
I don't know why, but those classic Ruffles potato chips with the French onion dip. Oh
Uh-huh.
my goodness.
They come back in the summer.
They came back so hard this last weekend. And then like Julie, ice cream. I mean, we could go out every night if we let ourselves. It is so fun to go out for ice cream. We grill still, but we're kind of grilling some different things. So like we hadn't eaten brats probably since last summer, but all of a sudden this weekend with the watermelon, it was like brats, watermelon,
Mhm.
corn on the cob. These are
Mhm.
signifiers of summer.
Yes.
I'm buying a lot more seltzer waters.
Mhm.
Bubblies are kind
Mhm.
of the new family favorite, cherry flavor. Thank you, Abby and Joey. Just fruit, lots of fruit
Yeah.
too, other than watermelon.
Yeah. Yeah, we just bought our first watermelon this weekend too, and it was weird because it was just Steve and I at home, and typically, you know, in years past, if I cut up a watermelon, it's gone in 2 days. And we could only manage to eat half of it this weekend, and we didn't have to limit ourselves to one bowl a day. Right now, I could have watermelon for lunch and dinner and breakfast if I wanted to.
Yeah, I hadn't even
Yum.
thought about watermelon yet. So that's a
Yeah.
good reminder. I love it. And I miss grilling too. That is very much a summer thing. And, I moved my grill. I thought, I don't know if I'll ever use it, but I moved it. And then I thought about selling it once I got here, and I've just held on to it. So I think I want to kind of make myself get out there, and all these chicken recipes that I've been roasting in the oven, I want to try out there.
Oh, yeah.
No, that would be really good. Really good. Well, one of the things that says summer to me is just a lack of a schedule. So it's just small things. Like we normally have a small group that we meet with on Sundays from 4 to 6. And last night was our last meeting. And now we might meet, once a month in the summer. But like now all of a sudden my Sunday nights are free. And that kind of says summer to me. It's like our usual routines start to get altered and some time is freed up where you normally had something. So lack of schedule really says summer to me. And I think that for listeners too, like over the next few weeks after you've heard this episode, school's going to be ending and lessons for kids and sports will take a break. Like a lot of those things kind of die off in the summer and you have more time.
Right. Yeah. And when you're in the real empty nest like me, sometimes that can be kind of a scary feeling because I like the knowing what's coming up every week. I love that I have my Bible study on Tuesday mornings. And so most of the ladies are in kind of the same situation I'm in. So we've decided we're not going to meet for a Bible study, but we still want to meet. We want to keep the community and the friendship going. So we're going to maybe do like a summer book club together or I think we're looking into a service project, something to keep us together, but not as routine and not doing the Bible study.
Right.
So, I do miss some of the structure of the year in the summer. So I like to plan some things that are kind of like the tent poles that keep it all up,
Yeah.
And then still be free to be spontaneous around those. But I need a few things
right
structured.
Yeah, my kids get out of school, and of course I'll only have one child left in school when summer hits, but that's still a big deal. Getting people out the door, having lunch foods in the house. My groceries will change, kind of what I'm buying because they won't be taking lunches to school. There's certain things in my life that are consistent and that will stay. So my commitments stay the same: teaching at the gym, serving at the pregnancy center, podcasting. We try to do a good job of getting through the summer, working around each of our schedules. And so it'll just be kind of different to have people coming and going anytime and not having that school structure.
Well, let's think about what we want from the season. So there are certain things that say summer to us, but when you think about summer, what do you want to see come from your summer season? Have you given any thought to that?
Well, for me, I just want to be outside more, enjoying the natural beauty. Like we're blessed to live in a place that's really beautiful and has a lot to offer outdoors. And one fun thing that I want to do is when we sold our boat, we sold it to some friends, and they've been, really kind and considerate and all when John was going through everything. And she's always asking me like, what can I do for you? And I finally said, I know of something. I want to make a reservation to go out on your boat, our old boat.
Yeah.
And so she was happy to do that. She was, you just tell me when. And so I'm really looking forward to that because that was a hard thing to let go of. It's like, I'm not a boater anymore. And I've boated every summer of my life, So I thought that was sweet of her to let me do that. Yeah, because I love being on the water, and I've considered doing something like kayaking or another way to get out there that doesn't involve, a big boat.
Towing a boat.
Yeah,
right.
Doing all the hard work.
Right.
There's also a friend sent me a link to kayaking to Burgess Falls. It's this gorgeous waterfall about an hour from here. And there's really no way to get down to the bottom of the falls through hiking. So you kayak up to the bottom. And it's like a 4-hour kayaking tour that you can do. So I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Wow.
I've been wanting to do it all year. And I thought, okay, summer is the best time.
That's exciting. Kayaking is one of my favorite things to do. And I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah, it looks really fun.
I'd like to be able to do more of that. I love and have just started eating out back on my covered porch area.
Okay.
I'm starting my day out there. That's where I'm doing my quiet time. I'm journaling. I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, listening to the birds, my favorite way to start the day. I love having dinners out there with the family.
Mm-hmm.
And so any of the meals, it's outside. I want to be healthy. I want to be able to be intentional still with taking care of myself with all that needs to be done. I want to go for nightly walks with Bryce.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be the best way for us to kind of talk about our days, move around after dinner, see neighbors. We tend to see and are able to catch up with a lot of neighbors that are also out walking. And it's just kind of really sweet. You never really know who you're going to run into, but you're going to always run into one or two different people to kind of catch back up with. I asked Bryce yesterday, I said, what do you hope to have this summer? And he said, I want to have peace. Peace, good relationships. Our son is ending a season. Our family is ending a season with him. And we're also beginning a season with college. And so just ending well, starting well, peace in our home, good relationships.
You want time, family, peace, time outdoors. Like all of that is available, but sometimes it can be hard to make happen. Like your people are there, but peace can be hard to come by.
Yes.
It's hard to get everybody to sit down for a meal together. The nights can slip away and you don't get to go out for a walk with Bryce like you planned. You do have to work for those things, even though it doesn't seem like you would have to.
Yeah, sometimes you're just tired and think, oh, I'll just do this instead, and it might be just watching TV or something. And I think we all three love our porches. And I'm with you, Mindy. Like I start my morning on the porch. I have coffee, my quiet time. Then I'm back out there eating lunch on the back porch. And then at night, I bought a lamp for my front porch. So I do my reading out there. And it's just this nice, cool breeze. Neighbors are coming by. My dog sits out there with me now off leash. Like he just loves being out there. Mm-hmm. So I just think less TV, more reading, more, I don't know. It's not like I don't relax already, but just more intentional, I guess. And I like being, where I can meet people and talk to people. So taking a stroll around the park or whatever, you're always going to bump into somebody, or our neighbors gather to watch the sunset. Like that's just a really fun thing. And that's kind of started back up. So I'm looking forward to those. Those are usually those after dinner times I was talking about.
That's nice. Yeah. When I was thinking about what I want from the summer, the first thing I put down, family time, because that can be hard to come by. Like my college kids are coming home, but they're only all home for 3 weeks. And then 2 of my girls are going away for 9 weeks. And then my son will be home for like another month before he starts his job. Time that everyone's home is limited. But anyways, I do want that family time. Like I've bought a fire pit. I have yet to set it up. But one of my goals before people start getting home in a week or so is to get that set up. I also bought chairs, but I have to put them together. So I want to get that area. I bought lights for it, but I need Steve to kind of help me string them. Like there's like, I want to do preparation to kind of create like a spot, an opportunity for, I think for stuff like that to happen. So I think that's kind of being intentional with summer. We just had a porch swing put up. And so I know that porch swings usually for our family is someplace that we like to hang out. So I feel like that's creating another opportunity for that. And you're outside walking around at night. Most of the year I walk Clara by myself at night before we go to bed. But it seems like in the summer or when people are home on vacation, there's always someone that wants to go with me. So that's nice because it's like special time to talk with someone. So like those later night walks. Yeah, just the opportunity for more family time, I think. I've also been planting a lot. And I mean, I've planted a ton. And I really want to be intentional about enjoying those plants, like watching to see how they grow, paying attention to, are they doing well in that spot? Should I maybe plant something different there next year? Like what should be done? And so I really like going around and kind of looking at what each one is doing. Like you can see some of the flowers from my porch swing, and the other night I couldn't stop looking over there. They're not growing before my very eyes, but I still couldn't stop looking to glance over to see anything new, anything change. Yeah. So what I want from this summer, I think, is just I want to have special times with Pepper and Chapel, my granddaughters. In the summer, their lives tend to slow down a little bit too, and there tends to be less things that they're committed to during the week, so there's more time for that. And I don't think that I have announced on the podcast, but I'm going to have a new grandbaby. I kind of feel like this is the last chance to do stuff with just Pepper and Chapel. That's not true.
Yeah.
But then a new baby comes, and so then maybe you can't do quite the same things that you were able to do or whatever. It's just, it's like your last chance for things how they are right now. And then there'll be a welcome change, but it'll still be a change.
Oh, I feel that so much, Marie. I'm trying to not put too much pressure on that particular feeling because I keep thinking, what else can we do with Jacob before he leaves? This is the last time that him and Nathan's spring breaks will line up for a long time. And so we won't be able to do family trips like just the four of us. And this has been a special season with just the younger two boys. And now it's about to end. And I'm just like, what else can we do? Like, can we plan more trips? I can't make it last longer. It's going to end. And I'm not happy about that.
And the new season will be good. It is going to be good, your new season, but it's hard saying goodbye to an old season too. I mean, when Jacob goes away, there's going to be good things about that. But I think just as moms, particularly sending someone off to college, you can only think about the endings.
Yes. Yeah. We have teased him. We're going to take Nathan on all the European adventures now. Just trying to make light of it. But yeah, it's bittersweet. All these bittersweet moments we've talked about.
Yeah. And the thing is you will start to think of like, okay, well, they might not have the same spring break anymore, but there's a really long winter break, especially when Nathan goes to college. I mean, there's 6 weeks you could plan a trip to go somewhere and just go someplace warm, it'll just be different.
Right. Yeah. You'll find that you actually do still take a trip. You can't see it now, but it'll happen and maybe a little different, but
a little different.
Right. Yeah. Well, Gretchen Rubin, she talks about having a summer of. So she had a lot of different suggestions for this. Like she knew someone that had a summer of only wearing pink. And like every single item of clothing she wore was pink. For Gretchen, she really likes to read. So I've never read this author, but she had a summer of Proust.
Not on my reading list.
No. But like you could pick a summer of going to national parks and maybe you're going to hit 5 or 6 or, so like, do you feel like you ever set up a summer of?
I don't know that I've ever thought that intentionally about it, but I remember the first year we started homeschooling, I wanted to read a lot because I was not a reader as a child. So I missed a lot of good books. And that teaching my kids made me want to read. And I remember, I think we had just gotten our back porch and I probably read for the first time, all these classics. Like I read Tale of Two Cities, Cheaper by the Dozen, The Count of Monte Cristo, Little Women, Persuasion. And that summer still sticks in my mind as the summer I read, like all those great books. And I loved them. And I can still remember going out in the afternoons to read. Because my kids, one of them was still kind of young. And so I'd have to just set aside that time, to read. And I know Gretchen does, she calls it summer of rereading sometimes. Like she loves to reread books and I do too. And I thought this summer, I've been reading a lot of heavy books on grief and loss. And I said, I think that's going to be maybe the way I mark the summer is I'm going to take a break from that. And I'm going to reread some fun books, some classics. Like our book club, we already just started with To Kill a Mockingbird. Not that that's a light book, but I mean, it's, it is one of my favorite books. So I think that's what I'm going to do is take a break from the grief stuff and just read for pure pleasure. And even if it's rereading, I don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I've got lots of books that are favorites, and I liked that idea.
Yeah. And I think the summer is a good time to do that because our bodies are kind of conditioned that we can do things in the summer that we won't do the rest of the year. So it's not like you're having to come to this time where you're like, I'm never going to read another grief book again. You're just saying, I'm going to take a break from it. And your body knows that if you want to pick that up again, you can. Just like with a lot of summer activities that we take a break from.
Yeah, in 2 months.
Then we pick them back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's
Just
a
put
good
a pause
time.
on that for now. So
Yeah. So you kind of want a summer of getting back into pleasurable reading.
hmm
Oh, that's enjoyable. It's neat because, we've all just recently started watching The Baxters on Prime. I remember when we lived in Brentwood, I had a summer of Karen Kingsbury. And it literally was just like every Karen Kingsbury book coming out of that Brentwood library. And that was a lot of fun. And then another summer in Brentwood, it was studying the Old Testament. And it was diving deep into Israel and just learning things that I had not taken time to learn in the Old Testament before. And it really just came to life for me. If I could say that this summer, I'm not looking to do a lot of reading, it's going to be the summer of badminton.
Oh,
we have enough to do, like just things that actually have to happen. I'm going to have a constant to-do list. And so now that our grass is all coming in and the sprinklers are back on, we bought a new badminton set, and we have been so excited to set it up in the front yard and really just go out there and have pickup games all the time. It's
that's
so much
great.
fun for our family. It's carefree. Anybody can play. I can be barefoot in my grass, which is like one of my favorite things.
Mhm.
And it's a family activity we all love to do. And then basically, as neighbors walk by, we invite them into our game. So
Yeah, I was going to say, it's interesting
Yeah.
that you're going to set it up in the front yard, which is great
Mhm.
because you are going to get passersby that will join in.
yes, this is just how our house is designed. Our backyard would typically be where we would put a badminton set, but we have a steep hill that goes down and then it flattens out.
Mm.
Our front yard is the easiest, most accessible, nicest lawn that we want to play on. So it just happens. It's kind of hillbilly style, but that's just who we are.
I think that's great. So summer of badminton. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think this summer I want to have a summer of enjoying our community. We moved last summer and it's a true community in that for the first time in our lives, we have a community pool. We have the community pickleball courts. The other night, I went down and listened to music at the community venue. There's a lot of outdoor things to enjoy within the community, and I want to take advantage of that and enjoy them. And we moved in August last year, but you're so busy just with the whole moving. I never listened to one bit of the music. I never went to the pool even one time. I didn't even figure out how to use it. It wasn't something that I took advantage of. And so now this summer, I really do want that to be a summer of taking advantage of those things.
Because Marie, don't you feel like, and you too, Julie, like you're being in a new house, each new season is new again. And, I know, Julie, I feel like you've come up on a year. Have you been in your home a year?
Yeah, this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. I can't believe it.
You have been through every season in your home, and Marie, you're still going into a new season. So every season brings up new things because you use your house differently.
Right.
So that's really exciting for you guys. And I know I'm enjoying that we are coming up on 3 years. And that somebody walked past, a friend and I were walking past my own house the other day. She was like, wow, your front yard and your porch, they're amazing. And I was like, every season we do a little bit more. And right now it just looks really good because it's had a lot of time,
Right. Yeah, I've heard you say that many times, but not having moved in 20 years, I didn't really understand what you meant. But I really do. Even this spring season, I'm planting a ton. And I know I'll plant some next year too, but next year I'll have a better idea of, what worked and what didn't work and what grew. And I won't have as many things to buy because I tried to focus a lot on perennials, and it won't be as time consuming to figure all that out next year. And then the following year, you'll have seen mature growth, and you know what I'm saying? So I can definitely see what you mean now, but before I didn't really understand what you meant. So
yeah, it's definitely a new season here too, just because last May through November is not going to be like this May through November. I was doing much different things. And I know John and I enjoyed going down to the sunsets together. And then towards the end, he didn't want to go, and then he couldn't go. And I was like, well, why don't I go? And I just couldn't make myself. I would go a couple times and didn't really enjoy it. And so I started noticing everybody out this year, and I was like, I'm just going to go. I'm just going to do it. And it was just I really can't put it to words why it felt different, but I guess because I wasn't leaving him behind. It was like I had to make a choice. Am I going to do this or not? And it was really nice, So I think I'm going to even see the summer a lot differently than last summer. Even though we were here, we weren't really enjoying the community, like I will be able to this year. So
right.
Yeah. Well, let's think about one of the things that she said, and you tell me how you feel about this. Well, actually, she didn't say it. The quote at the beginning said it. The guy said, I have not had any adventures, and adventures are what make a summer. So how do you feel about that? And are you going to have any what you would consider adventures?
I do associate summer with adventures, and they don't have to be huge things like traveling to Europe or even a national park, like just doing things that you don't normally do, like me getting in a kayak or hiking to a waterfall or swimming in a lake or swimming in a stream, or you know what I mean? Like those aren't things I do every day. And I always just feel like I want to do that at least once every summer, because it's one of those things we've talked about before. I feel like if I stop, I might not start again. I want to keep that going. Just hiking and being adventurous outdoors, trying new things. And I've got a friend who's coming to visit, and she had listened to our All Things Nashville podcast, and she was, I want to do everything on that list. And I said, well, you're only going to be here for 3 days, so you're going to have to pick and choose. But she definitely chose like, let's find a coffee shop, get some good food, hike, and do something historical, like visit an old home or something like that. So I will count that as an adventure with her. And certainly my camping trip is an adventure because I don't really camp. So I'm relying on my friend to show me how all that works. And one more thing that we talked about doing, and I think this is very summerish because I think of drive-in movies. My book club suggested watching one of our books, watching the movie. And I remember like probably 10 or 15 years ago, this woman had me over to watch a movie, and her husband had set out a big screen on her driveway, and we watched it out there.
Oh, fun.
And I said, what, can your husband do that again and set that up for us? And she said, oh, I'm sure he would love to. And she said he was so honored that I even remembered that he did that. So he's thrilled to like get it all set up again. So I think that'll be fun because, drive-in movies are just a very summer thing.
Yeah, an outdoor movie is a really great. I'm actually surprised they don't have outdoor movies at least once a summer or once a month in this neighborhood, Julie, because
I think they do for kids.
Do they?
I think they have children's movies, up at Magley Green,
Oh, I definitely want to take advantage of that then with Pepper and Chapel, because those kinds of things say summer to me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but the reason I don't go to the drive-in movie is because it doesn't start till 9.
Oh.
And you'll be there till 1 a.m.
Well, that could be an adventure, though, Julie, one time.
I know. But, it's an hour away, I think. So it's really late.
Yeah.
I'd be up for it.
Yeah. Do you have any adventures planned this summer, Mindy?
Yes, all of ours are actually close to home. And this is kind of exciting for us because we're so far out of we've just transitioned here and the move and establishing, seasons in our home and community. We're going to experience our community and home in ways we haven't been really free to do in the past. And so we're really going to commit to actually going to our local amphitheater. It's called Sweetland. And it's an outdoor concert venue. And by going to Sweetland Amphitheater for our summer concert series, we'll pick and choose the concerts that we go to. But I mean, it is the most beautiful, charming venue. And it's right off of our downtown. You can walk to dinner downtown, then walk to the amphitheater, and you're going to see everyone that you know, basically. And so we're going to do that, kind of continuing to cultivate friendships in the community. We are actually going to have a staycation. Instead of going to the beach, we actually scaled down the things that we didn't have to do to simplify our home and even our family vacation because of all the other things that needed to be done. And so we're going to have lake days like we haven't been able to do in the past, and do things around LaGrange and West Point Lake that we just have failed to do. And so being able to experience our area in a way and, use it as a vacation spot and taking the time to see people cultivate relationships in the community and really just sticking kind of closer to home.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my dreams in the future, if God so allows, I've just started asking Bryce about possibly building a pool in our backyard.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that on here so he can get all kinds of pressure.
Possibly, Bryce.
Yes. His first reaction was not very positive. So I think it's going to take a long time.
Oh, that's good. One of my adventures is for the past 3 years, I've gone outside my comfort zone, and 1 week of the summer met my brother, who he and his wife are teachers, and they travel for a month in the summer. They go all over the country. They'll pick a route and they'll be gone for a month, and they'll always be staying at different national parks for part of the time. So a couple years ago, we met them in Glacier National Park, but we stayed in a hotel that time. Then last year we went to Yosemite, and I got even more uncomfortable. We stayed in a tent, but it had a wood floor. It had canvas walls, and it was near bathrooms that you walk to, and they set it up for you. You rented it and they had it all set up. It had beds, with up off the ground. So that was also a little bit more outside of my comfort zone. And now this year, the third year meeting them, I'm doing full-on camping in a tent, on the ground, sleeping in a sleeping bag, which if I wouldn't have had these step downs, I don't know if I could have gotten to this point. But this year, so first year was Glacier, the next year was Yosemite. This year it's Grand Tetons and Yellowstone. And when we looked at trying to stay in like some kind of lodging in the park, it was very expensive, more expensive than it had been in the other places. And we were going to be kind of far from my brother, which if we're going to go, we might as well be right by them. And so he's like, there's always camping, Marie. So we booked a campsite, and then you're allowed to have 2 tents on your campsite. And so I said to my son and daughter-in-law, hey, we have this campsite. You're allowed to have 2 tents. Do you guys want to come? So they're coming and doing tent camping also. So
wow.
It's going to be a family affair. And they've never really tent camped, and we've never really tent camped. So, it's going to be a full-on adventure. I've really got to go into it with a very open mind. And, it's good that I've had these step downs every year, because now I feel like maybe I can do it.
You're very brave, Marie.
You are. And then I feel like we need to have a whole podcast centered around different types of camping for both of you guys with what you're about to do, Julie. And then Marie, what you're doing. I think that would be incredible to hear about the different types of camping, ways to camp, places you've been, and all of that.
So that's my big adventure for the summer.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as far as designing your summer, what else did you guys think of on this topic?
My mind went to all of our family celebrations that are happening this summer. We have a lot of celebrations to happen. We kind of start the summer off with my son graduating and a huge graduation party, hosting family, things like that. Actually, a week before Jacob graduates, Grant has a birthday. He turns 22, which when I say I just remembered he has a birthday, that's kind of where my mind has been. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Grant. But I did remember. Uh-huh. So yeah, Grant turns 22. Then this summer, Jacob turns 18. Bryce and I celebrate an anniversary. Abby and Joey celebrate an anniversary. Then my parents, you guys, 50 years married this summer in July. And so we're going to end up floating that because we want to really celebrate their 50th wedding anniversary. We're going to end up floating their anniversary to September.
Okay.
Thankfully, and really just celebrate them for all that they've been through and everything. And so that's kind of where my mind is there's a lot happening, a lot of celebrations, joyful events. And I want to be prepared for all of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a lot of special things. I mean, graduation, an 18th birthday, a 50th anniversary, a couple wedding anniversaries, just regular birthdays. Like there's a lot of times to make people feel special. Father's Day.
Oh, stop it.
There's just a lot of times to make people feel special this summer, Mindy.
You had to say Father's Day. You know, our whole staycation week is planned around Father's Day.
Okay. That's taken
it will be
care of.
Wonderful. Yeah. It's already scheduled.
Yeah. So that is true. That's a lot. 4th of July, like there's just a lot. Yeah. Well, it definitely sounds like if we didn't go into summer planning, then we might not be able to feel like we did all these things successfully. So I really am thankful for Gretchen's idea of design your summer. And I am thankful that we talked about this a month beforehand, because now I can start to put things on my radar and think, oh, yeah, I do want to plan to do that. There are things that I want to plan and incorporate that I haven't gotten around to.
Yeah, because like I've said before, you have to plan for fun things too. Or fun things don't just happen, I don't think.
Right. And I'll say even if you're in a season like me where there's just a lot to do, finding time to take those walks, or just a daily sense of breathing, walking outside, slowing things down, slowing a meal down. That's where I'm going to really find some solace and peace and rest in the midst.
Mm-hmm. Listeners, we'd love to hear about how you're planning to design your summer. You can find us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast, or you can email us at midlifematterspodcast@gmail.com. But before we go, we want to do I'm a Fan. All right, Julie, what are you a fan of this week?
All right, I'm bringing you another recipe. A friend who's hosted book club twice has had these delicious scones for us. And she said, I really don't enjoy a scone because and I kind of agree with her, they're a little on the dry, crumbly side. So she said, these are a little more on the biscuit side. And I think she might have made this recipe up. It's just a cup of white lily self-rising flour. And she said about a cup of whipping cream. But I have found, put the flour in the bowl and then gradually add the whipping cream. Like it's a little less than a cup. You just want it to be where you could mix it with your hands into a ball, and sometimes if you do the full cup, it's a little sticky.
Okay.
And then she's always added a cup of chocolate chips.
Oh, yum.
You would need the chips. Otherwise it's just kind of like a biscuit. But you roll it out in a circle, about like an 8-inch circle. And then you cut it like you were cutting a pizza into triangles, and go ahead and separate those triangles so that it bakes on all sides,
Oh.
And so you get 8 little scones, and they're just really, really good, and they're good warm. So I actually took some to my neighbors the other day because they did a little bit of yard work for me, and they loved them. And David loves them. They're great for breakfast or just with coffee in the afternoon or tea. They're really good.
Oh.
And it's just super easy. And I almost always have those ingredients on hand.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah.
You bake at 425 for 8 to 10 minutes. Since I don't actually have a link to this will be my recipe here.
Okay.
I don't always have whipping cream. Of course, I have flour and chocolate chips, so I might need to get some whipping cream, keep it on hand.
But yeah, if you buy a bottle of it, it lasts a long time. So you would have it left over,
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Delicious. That
sounds
really
very
good.
easy too.
Yeah.
Okay. Mindy, what are you a fan of this week?
I'm a fan of ice cream.
Okay.
And I have a great one for you. If you can't get out and go buy ice cream at your local shop, Bluebell, one of my favorite flavors, is out again this summer. It's called Cookies and Cream Cone. And it is just, I love chocolate. And this particular ice cream is so good. So if you want to have one kind of in your freezer, Bryce likes to mix it with vanilla. He likes to tone down the chocolate. But if you're a chocolate lover, you don't need the vanilla. You don't need that mess. But it is a mixture of kind of chocolate and vanilla, and it's got a little crunch to it. It's hard to describe.
Is it like waffle cone pieces?
Yeah, kind of, but it's chocolate.
Chocolate cone?
It is. It's like there's a lot more chocolate to it than you realize, but it's by Bluebell, called Cookies and Cream Cone. I haven't seen it. I hadn't really looked for it, maybe even wanted it until I'm like walking by in Publix the other day and like my head whips around because it catches my attention. I'm like, oh yeah, this is coming home with me.
I've got watermelon and this cookies and cream cone.
Exactly. I mean, I wasn't even looking for it. And but I remembered it from last summer is when I first found the flavor, but it is so good.
Okay.
So good.
I'll have to look for that. Well, I'm bringing a food too. So I guess we're just all doing foods today, but I have never really been one for sushi. But the other day I was in Sam's Club and I was like, oh, I don't want to cook dinner. I don't want to just get a rotisserie chicken. I'm kind of tired of that. What else could I get? And then I walked by their sushi and they have a guy that makes it right there. I thought, people have told me before the sushi here at Sam's Club is good. So I think I'm just going to pick up a couple different kinds. It's just Steve and I home and we'll have that for dinner. You guys, it was so good. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed it. Maybe sushi aficionados would be like, oh my goodness, Marie, that's horrible sushi. But to me, it tasted good. And I've actually heard people say that Sam's Club does have pretty good sushi. And so I had enough left over for lunch the next day. And so I enjoyed it again. And it was so easy. There's literally no cooking. You don't have to warm up, nothing. You just take it out and put it on your plate.
Wow.
So an easy summer meal if you are in Sam's Club. I wish Costco had sushi, but they don't have it. That I know of. I mean, they don't have anyone making it.
They did. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Kroger. Maybe I think
Kroger
they make
does.
it. Yeah.
Yes, Kroger does.
Okay.
So, anyways, if you want an easy meal, cold, out on your porch, you don't want to cook, and you have a Sam's Club membership, I highly recommend.
I wish I liked it. I've tried.
Oh, you don't like it, Julie?
All my kids like it, so I wanted to like it. So I've been twice with them, and I just can't do it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I've tried to figure out what taste it is that I don't like, and I haven't pinpointed that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like sushi, Mindy?
I do. My favorite sushi came from Wegmans up in the Northeast.
Oh, okay. Yes, I love Wegmans.
And I miss Wegmans a lot. And I've tried the sushi at Publix and it's pretty good. It's not as good as Wegmans. So I just have to kind of, change my taste a little bit. But summer is kind of when I kind of gravitate towards that. I hadn't even thought about that yet. So I'm glad you said that.
I was thinking that this might be my summer of sushi because it's so so easy.
Right. It's a nice grab and go situation if it's already done for you.
And I had that watermelon. So like the whole meal was like cold and summery.
Yeah. Grab some ice cream and finish off that meal in the right way.
I know. All right, you guys. Well, I enjoyed designing my summer today, and I'm sure there'll be more ideas that come to my mind too. And I thank you for sparking them.
Yeah.
Oh, this was great.
All right. I'm ready to get started.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great.
Okay, bye. We're so happy you joined us today. You can find the show notes for this episode at midlifematterspodcast.com. Also, please tell a friend about the show and help them hit the free subscribe button on their favorite podcast app. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Midlife Matters Podcast. That's where we post pictures and stories about all the things we talk about in each episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.